Okay, so consider the reaction below. Which species is the oxidizing agent? Here, the oxidizing agent is simply the species that is being reduced. And we can use the oxidation number to get that. So we have zinc plus copper sulfate, giving us zinc sulfate plus copper. Now the oxidation number of zinc here is 0, and that of zinc here is plus 2. So zinc, the oxidation number of zinc has changed. Zinc is 0 because oxidation number of pure elements, element that is not combined, is 0, but it is plus 2 here because it is combined. And from 0 to plus 2 is an increase in oxidation number. That means this is oxidation. Oxidation means that this guy being oxidized is called the reducing agent. Zinc is the reducing agent. For copper, the oxidation number of copper in a combined state here is plus 2. Copper here is 0. So plus 2 to 0 is reduction. You see that? So that means since copper is reduced, copper is the oxidizing agent. So the answer is copper sulfate. That is the oxidizing agent. That is C. Copper 2 ion from copper sulfate is the oxidizing agent. So the species that is being reduced is the oxidizing agent, and the species that is being oxidized is the reducing agent. Now another clue you can use there is that zinc is a metal. Metals are usually reducing agent, so it makes it, that means copper sulfate is an oxidizing agent. That's by the way. Okay, we have this. In the reaction below, identify the reducing agent. So this is the equation: AHCl, BFe, C, FeCl2, DH2. I want to say this here, that the answer can never be the product. The answer is always one of the reactants. Now there are many ways I can answer this. First of all, ion is a metal, so metals are reducing agents generally. That means obviously this guy is an oxidizing agent. But let us see. Let us try this. Their oxidation numbers. You have this giving you this plus hydrogen. Ion here is 0 because it's pure. The oxidation number of ion here is plus 2 because if you calculate this, chlorine is minus 1. Minus 1 times 2 is minus 2, making ion plus 2. So from 0 to plus 2 means that ion has been oxidized. That is oxidation because there is an increase in the oxidation number. And because of that, we can call ion the reducing agent. That means HCl in this case now is acting as the oxidizing agent. That's one way you can, do that. So the answer is B. I showed you 2 ways. There are actually 3 ways, but we can do with the 2. Now in this reaction, we are given another reaction again. Which substance is oxidized? Remember I said that the product can never be the answer. The answer has to be one of these 2. So the one that is obviously oxidized is HCl. You are going to ask me how I know. That's very simple. If you notice here, the oxidation number that changed is chlorine. Chlorine is combined here. Chlorine is not combined here. Chlorine here in combined state is minus 1. Chlorine here is 0. So from minus 1 to 0 is oxidation. So since it is oxidized, that means HCl is the one that is being oxidized. So the answer is C. Another way you can know this, there are many ways you can know this, okay? Hydrogen chloride is what we have here. Here we have chlorine. That means there is a loss of hydrogen. Loss of hydrogen also means oxidation. From hydrogen chloride to chlorine is a loss of hydrogen, and that's also oxidation. So that means hydrogen chloride is the one that is being oxidized. Another idea you can use is that KMNO4 is an oxidizing agent. There are many of them like that. KMNO4, K2CR2O7, MnO2. They are all oxidizing agents. So whenever you see them in a reaction, their job is to oxidize. They are known for it. That means it is this that is being oxidized. Okay. So we move to the next question. It says, consider this. Which species acts as an oxidizing agent? you don't need to think twice. MnO2 is acting as an oxidizing agent for obvious reasons. One of them is that it has oxygen. I already told you that there are species that are oxidizing agents, but you can also try it. The valency of manganese here, you can use the oxidation number. For MnO2, the oxidation number of oxygen is -2. -2 times 2 is -4. That means manganese is +4. So I can come here and say +4. In manganese chloride, chlorine is -1. -1 times 2 is -2. So manganese is +2. So here it is +2. So from +4 to +2 is reduction. Reduction means that it is the oxidizing agent, because the oxidizing agent is the species that is being reduced, and the reducing agent is the species that is being oxidized. Kindly note that. Now here in the ionic equation, which species is the reducing agent? The reducing agent is the one that is being oxidized. So the answer is tin ion, because from here is +2 to +4. From +2 to +4 is an increase in oxidation number. That means tin 2 ion is the one that is the reducing agent, because it is oxidized. Here we have another question. It says, which of the following half equations represents a reduction process? Which of the following half equation represent the reduction process? Reduction is simply gain of electrons. So A is losing electron. This is wrong. There is electron loss here. B is losing electron. This is wrong. C is gaining electron. This is correct. D is losing electron. This is wrong. So the only one that involves gain of electron is C. And that's the answer to that question. Very interesting questions. And now in this one, it says, in the reaction between sodium and water, what we have here, which change correctly describes what happens to sodium? Very simple. Here sodium is not combined, it's in its free state, so the oxidation number is 0. Here sodium is combined, the oxidation number is +1. So the change is from 0 to +1. The answer is B. Sodium is oxidized from 0 to +1. So that's the answer. The next one says, the reaction H2S plus Cl2 giving us 2HCl plus sulfur. Which statement is correct? A says Cl is oxidized, H2L is reduced. That's not correct. Generally speaking, non-metals, chlorine is a non-metals. Non-metals are usually oxidizing agents, but we can use the valencies. Here chlorine is 0, here chlorine is -1. From 0 to -1 is reduction. So chlorine is reduced. And this one here, from here to here now, will be oxidation. Because sulfur here is -2, sulfur here is 0, this is 0, this is -2. That's an increase in oxidation number. So this is also wrong. It cannot be the product. H2S is the reducing agent, and Cl is the oxidizing agent. And that is very correct, because the species that is oxidized is the reducing agent, and the species that is reduced is the oxidizing agent. So the answer is C. Then finally, which of the following substances is not commonly used as oxidizing agent in the laboratory? This is oxidizing, this is oxidizing, this is oxidizing also. Conc H2SO4 can be used. So the answer is this, C. C is not commonly used as an oxidizing agent. Now number 20, in the reaction, hydrogen peroxide acts as, well, this is quite easy. The valency of oxygen here is -2. In peroxide, the valency of oxygen is -1. In water, the valency of oxygen is -2. In oxygen, the valency of oxygen is 0. So from -1 to -2 is reduction. From -1 to 0 is oxidation. So that means hydrogen peroxide is serving as both an oxidizing and a reducing agent, which we call disproportionation. Thank you very much. See you in my next video.